Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a place that is quite literally defined by absolutes. We're talking about a nation with staggering natural wonders, a deeply complex history, and massive global influence. We are exploring the Federative Republic of Brazil. Let's get right into it. Just to wrap our heads around the sheer scale we're dealing with here, Brazil covers roughly half of South America's entire land area. It's the fifth largest country in the world by area and the seventh largest by population, home to over 213 million people. Add in a massive 7,491 kilometers of Atlantic coastline, and you realize this isn't just a country. It's practically a continent all on its own. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll quickly trace the origins of the name, tour the mega-diverse landscape, put a spotlight on the incredible Iguazu Falls, look at the tapestry of people who live there, and finally unpack its status as a modern powerhouse. All right, kicking things off with part 1, origins of the name, from embers to palm trees. Picture this, it's the year 1500. The Portuguese, commanded by Pedro Álvares Cabral, arrive and officially mandate that the territory be called Terra da Santa Cruz, the land of the Holy Cross. Very formal, right? But the actual European sailors and merchants working those trade routes, they organically started calling it Terra do Brasil, and ultimately that popular grassroots usage completely eclipsed the official royal decree. So why Brazil? Well, it actually comes down to a tree, pau Brazil or Brazil wood. The root of the word comes from brasa, meaning an ember, and that's because this wood produced this brilliantly deep red dye that the European textile industry was absolutely craving. It was basically as good as gold. Throughout the 16th century, indigenous peoples harvested massive amounts of this timber along the coast. So yeah, the land literally took its new name from its most lucrative natural resource. But we have to remember the land had a name long before Europeans ever showed up. To anchor ourselves in the indigenous perspective, it's crucial to know that in the Guarani language, the region is called Pindorama, which is such a beautiful word. It translates to land of the palm trees. It's a great reminder of the rich, existing cultures and the deep connection to the local environment that predates the 16th century. Moving on to part 2, let's look at that environment. A megadiverse landscape, ranking first globally. Out of the 17 megadiverse countries in the world, Brazil actually ranks number 1. It's astounding. You've got the Amazon basin, housing the world's largest river system and the most extensive old-growth tropical forest. Then there's the Pantanal, which are these incredibly expansive subtropical wetlands. Oh, and the Cerrado, these vast tropical savannas. With this sheer variety of ecosystems, Brazil's environmental health is literally tied directly to global climate change. Let's zoom in a bit for part 3. Spotlight on Iguazu Falls' raw geological power. If you ever want to truly grasp the raw physical power of Brazil's landscape, just think about this number, 1,800,000. That is how many liters of water crash down the 275 distinct drops of Iguazu Falls every single second. Every single second. That's almost an entire Olympic swimming pool of water. Plunging down into a deep canyon right along the border with Argentina, the whole system culminates in the deafening Garganta del Diablo, the devil's throat. It is incredibly visceral. But let's look past the water for just a second. The real mystery is beneath the surface. How exactly did a supercontinent tearing apart create a modern world wonder? Okay, let's rewind deep into geological time. Between 125 and 115 million years ago, the ancient supercontinent of Gondwana fragmented, triggering unimaginable volcanic eruptions. We're talking 1.2 million square kilometers covered in Serra-Geral basaltic lava during the Lower Cretaceous. That is literally the largest basaltic flow recorded on Earth's continental crust. Then, jump forward millions of years to the Holocene, and rivers start actively cutting into this flat volcanic plateau through regressive fluvial erosion. So the falls we see today, they're the direct result of deep geological history actively shaping our modern world. Which brings us to part 4, a tapestry of people, demographics, and history. When we look at the 2022 census, you can clearly see Brazil's population is this incredibly rich demographic tapestry. 45.3% of the population identifies as Pardo, which generally refers to mixed ancestry. Another 43.5% identify as white and 10.2% as black. Plus, there are very vibrant indigenous and East Asian communities, making up 0.6% and 0.4% respectively. It's a highly diverse mix born from thousands of years of human movement, intense colonial history, and global migration. And we can trace those roots back incredibly far. Human habitation here goes back at least 11,000 years, evidenced by the prehistoric remains of the Luzia woman. Fast forward to 1500 and Pedro Álvares Cabral arrives, sparking a colonial era fueled by sugar and, tragically, the horrific importation of enslaved Africans. Jumping ahead, independence was declared in 1822, establishing an empire. And the following century was, well, it was a roller coaster. A military coup established a republic in 1889. There was a US-backed military dictatorship from 1964 to 1985, until civilian governance finally returned to forge the current democratic constitution in 1988. I know, it's a remarkably dense, dramatic historical arc. Which leads us directly to our final section, Part 5, the modern powerhouse, economic weight and nuance. Today, Brazil is really a tale of dual realities. On one hand, you are looking at an undeniable economic giant. It's the 8th largest economy in the world by purchasing power parity, sitting at over $5.2 trillion, and nominally it's 10th at $2.6 trillion. But beneath that immense wealth generation, there are serious structural complexities. While it boasts a high Human Development Index ranking 84th, its Gini coefficient, which measures wealth distribution, sits at a staggering 50.3. So, impartially looking at the data, it's a nation generating massive wealth, but clearly facing ongoing structural challenges in how that wealth is shared.
So you might be wondering, where exactly is all that economic weight coming from? Well, Brazil has a highly diversified engine. It's a leading global exporter of agricultural goods and a massive primary exporter of raw mineral resources. But it doesn't stop at raw materials. They also have a highly complex, diversified manufactured products industry. This three-pronged economic engine is exactly what cements Brazil as a crucial middle power in global relations today.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought. We've seen the raw power of Iguazu, the staggering biodiversity of the Amazon, the complex roots of its people, and its sheer economic output. But the defining question for the future really is this: how will the land of the palm trees balance its relentless rise as an economic powerhouse with the absolute urgent need to protect its irreplaceable ecosystems? How Brazil answers that question isn't just going to define its own borders. It's going to echo across the entire globe. Thanks so much for joining me today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you on